Commander Sarah Chen stepped onto the bustling Nexus station, a massive hub of trade and culture at the center of the galaxy. The station was alive with energy, filled with beings from countless worlds, each more unique than the last. As she walked through the crowded corridors, Sarah felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. Humans were often seen as a weak species, looked down upon by more powerful civilizations. They had a reputation to change, and Sarah was determined to be part of that effort. The atmosphere grew more intense as she approached the combat arena, the station's centerpiece. This impressive structure was where champions from various species fought to prove their strength and earn respect. Sarah had heard stories about the arena, but seeing it in person was overwhelming. The cheers of the crowd echoed around her as she stepped closer, drawn to the spectacle before her. As she entered the viewing area, her eyes were immediately drawn to the current champion, Zarathak, a warrior from the Kethmori Empire. Zarathak was a sight to behold. Towering over most beings at nearly 8 feet tall, she possessed a muscular frame that radiated power. Her blue skin shimmered under the arena lights, and her fierce gaze sent shivers down the spines of many who dared to meet it. Sarah watched in awe as Zarathak dispatched her latest challenger with brutal efficiency. The defeated fighter lay on the ground, clearly outmatched and overwhelmed with each match. The crowd roared louder, chanting Zarathak's name in unison. Sarah felt a mix of admiration and frustration. How could humanity ever hope to compete against such raw strength? The Kethmori had a long history of dominance in the galaxy, and their champion had never been defeated. There was a reason so many species feared and respected them. Sarah knew that if humanity stood any chance of being taken seriously, they needed to prove themselves. As the match concluded, Zarathak raised her arms in victory, soaking in the accolades from the crowd. But what struck Sarah most was the announcement that followed. Any species may claim recognition if they can defeat Zarathak. The implication was clear: this was a challenge for all. The Galactic Council would recognize any species that could defeat the champion in the arena, granting them full status and rights among the stars. Sarah's mind raced. This was an opportunity for humans to rise above their lowly status. But could they really compete? She glanced around at the other contestants, many of whom were already plotting their strategies. Some species had sent their strongest warriors, while others relied on cunning and trickery. Sarah knew that humans had to find a way to stand out, to show that they were more than just a protected species. Determined, Sarah began to formulate a plan. She knew that brute strength would not win the day for humanity. Instead, they needed to leverage their unique qualities. Humans were known for their adaptability, creativity, and resilience, and a history of overcoming impossible odds through ingenuity. This was their moment to shine, but they needed the right champion to represent them. As she continued to observe the arena, Sarah felt a sense of urgency. She recognized that time was of the essence. Each day that passed without a human champion meant another day of being looked down upon, another day of being seen as lesser. She needed to find someone who could embody the spirit of humanities, someone who could think outside the box and surprise the galaxy. Sarah left the arena with a newfound determination. She knew there were humans who had faced adversity and triumphed. Against all odds, it was time to find the right person, someone who could challenge Zarathak and show the galaxy what humanity was truly capable of. As she stepped back into the bustling corridors of Nexus Station, her heart raced with anticipation. The challenge lay ahead. She was ready to face it head-on, in a galaxy filled with powerful species and fierce competitors. Humanity would soon show that they were not to be underestimated. They had strengths that went beyond mere physicality, and it was time for the universe to take notice. Commander Sarah Chen stepped onto the bustling Nexus Station, a massive hub of trade and culture at the center of the galaxy. The station was alive with energy, filled with beings from countless worlds, each more unique than the last. She walked through the crowded corridors. Sarah felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. Humans were often seen as a weak species, looked down upon by more powerful civilizations. They had a reputation to change, and Sarah was determined to be part of that effort. The atmosphere grew more intense as she approached the combat arena, the station's centerpiece. This impressive structure was where champions from various species fought to prove their strength and earn respect. Sarah had heard stories about the arena, but seeing it in person was overwhelming. The cheers of the crowd echoed around her as she stepped closer, drawn to the spectacle before her. As she entered the viewing area, her eyes were immediately drawn to the current champion, Zarathak, a warrior from the Kethmori Empire. Zarathak was a sight to behold. Towering over most beings at nearly 8 feet tall, she possessed a muscular frame that radiated power. Her blue skin shimmered under the arena lights, and her fierce gaze sent shivers down the spines of many who dared to meet it. Sarah watched in awe as Zarathak dispatched her latest challenger with brutal efficiency. The defeated fighter lay on the ground, clearly outmatched and overwhelmed. With each match, the crowd roared louder, chanting Zarathak's name in unison. Sarah felt a mix of admiration and frustration. How could humanity ever hope to compete against such raw strength? The Kethmori had a long history of dominance in the galaxy, and their champion had never been defeated. There was a reason so many species feared and respected them. Sarah knew that if humanity stood any chance of being taken seriously, they needed to prove themselves. As the match concluded, Zarathak raised her arms in victory, soaking in the accolades from the crowd. But what struck Sarah most was the announcement that followed. Any species may claim recognition if they can defeat Zarathak. The implication was clear. This was a challenge for all. The Galactic Council would recognize any species that could defeat the champion in the arena, granting them full status and rights among the stars. Sarah's mind raced. This was an opportunity for humans to rise above their lowly status. But could they really compete? She glanced around at the other contestants, many of whom were already plotting their strategies. Some species had sent their strongest warriors, while others relied on cunning and trickery. Sarah knew that humans had to find a way to stand out. To show that they were more than just a protected species, determined, Sarah began to formulate a plan. She knew that brute strength would not win the day for humanity. Instead, they needed to leverage their unique qualities. Humans were known for their adaptability, creativity, and resilience. They had a history of overcoming impossible odds through ingenuity. This was their moment to shine, but they needed the right champion to represent them. As she continued to observe the arena, Sarah felt a sense of urgency. She recognized that time was of the essence. Each day that passed without a human champion meant another day of being looked down upon, another day of being seen as lesser. She needed to find someone who could embody the spirit of humanity, someone who could think outside the box and surprise the galaxy. Sarah left the arena with a newfound determination. She knew there were humans who had faced adversity and triumphed. Against all odds, it was time to find the right person, someone who could challenge Zarathak and show the galaxy what humanity was truly capable of. As she stepped back into the bustling corridors of Nexus Station, her heart raced with anticipation. The challenge lay ahead, and she was ready to face it head-on. In a galaxy filled with powerful species and fierce competitors, humanity would soon show that they were not to be underestimated. They had strengths that went beyond mere physicality, and it was time for the universe to take notice. As the day of the challenge approached, anticipation hung thick in the air of Nexus Station. Maria Santos felt both excitement and anxiety swirling within her. The arena was the heart of the station, and today it would host a battle that could change humanity's fate in the galaxy. She had trained hard, but the thought of facing Zarathak in combat still made her heart race. In the days leading up to the fight, Maria continued her rigorous training with Commander Sarah Chen. They would spend hours practicing techniques, refining strategies, and discussing how to outsmart the Kethmori champion. Sarah had emphasized the importance of using Maria's agility to avoid Zarathak's raw power, and Maria had begun to see the plan come together. One morning, as they trained in the facility, Sarah introduced a new tactic. Maria, we need to think about psychological warfare as well. Zarathak has never faced a challenger who can think outside the box. If you can get into her head, you might find an advantage. Maria nodded, her mind racing. What do you mean? Fight, you should play with her expectations. Make her think you're going to do one thing, and then do another. Use her strength against her. If you can make her frustrated, she may lose focus. With each training session, Maria grew more confident. She learned to read body language and predict movements, honing her instincts. The other humans on the station rallied around her, sharing stories and offering their support. They believed in her, and their encouragement fueled her determination. As the day of the challenge finally dawned, the atmosphere in Nexus Station was electric. Crowds gathered in the arena, filled with beings from various species eager to witness the fight. Maria made her way to the arena entrance, her heart pounding. She wore a simple but effective fighting outfit, designed for flexibility and comfort. When Maria stepped into the arena, the roar of the crowd enveloped her. She looked around, taking in the sea of alien faces, each one filled with anticipation. Then her gaze settled on the opposite side of the arena, where Zarathak stood. The Kethmori champion looked powerful and intimidating, her blue skin glistening under the bright lights. Zarathak seemed unfazed by the crowd, her focus entirely on the fight ahead, as the announcer's voice boomed. Introducing both fighters, Maria felt a wave of nerves wash over her. She reminded herself of the training, the support of her fellow humans, and the importance of this moment. She was not just fighting for herself. She was fighting for humanity. The bell rang, signaling the start of the match. Zarathak charged forward, her massive fists swinging with explosive power. Maria quickly sidestepped, narrowly avoiding a devastating punch. The ground shook beneath her as Zarathak's fist hit the arena floor, leaving a mark. Maria's heart raced, but she stayed calm, focusing on her movements. With her training kicking in, Maria danced around Zarathak, using her speed to evade the champion's attacks. Each time Zarathak swung, Maria ducked or sidestepped, watching for an opening. The crowd gasped and cheered, amazed by the agility of the human fighter. Maria felt a spark of confidence as she realized she could keep up with the Kethmori champion. As the fight progressed, Maria began to implement the tactics they had practiced. She feinted left, made Zarathak commit to a punch, and then quickly moved to the right. Each time she landed a quick jab or strike, the crowd erupted in applause. Maria could see the frustration growing on Zarathak's face, and she knew she was getting under the champion's skin. However, Zarathak was not easily deterred. After a few exchanges, the champion adjusted her approach, becoming more aggressive. Maria could feel the tension rising as Zarathak fought back with renewed ferocity. The Kethmori warrior charged again, her fists swinging wildly. Maria dodged. But this time, Zarathak anticipated her movement and caught her off guard with a powerful strike. Maria stumbled back, feeling the impact reverberate through her body. The crowd gasped, and for a brief moment, doubt crept into her mind. But she quickly shook it off. She remembered Sarah's words about resilience. She was not just a fighter, she was a representative of humanity, with determination burning in her. Heart Maria pushed herself back into the fight. She had come too far to back down now. She took a deep breath, refocused her mind, and prepared to unleash her full potential. The fight was far from over, and she was ready to show the galaxy what humanity was truly made of. Maria Santos stood in the arena, her heart racing as she faced Zarathak, the powerful champion of the Kethmori Empire. The crowd was roaring, their cheers echoing in her ears. She could feel the weight of their expectations pressing down on her. After taking a moment to steady her breathing, Maria remembered her training. She was not just fighting for herself, but for all of humanity. Zarathak charged forward again, and this time Maria was ready. She sidestepped the champion's powerful punch, feeling the rush of air as it whooshed past her. Using her agility, Maria ducked low and delivered a quick jab to Zarathak's midsection. The Kethmori champion grunted but quickly recovered, her eyes narrowing with anger. The fight continued with intensity. Maria danced around Zarathak, weaving in and out of range, using her speed to her advantage. Every time Zarathak swung her fists, Maria moved just out of reach, striking back with quick jabs and kicks. The crowd was on their feet, amazed at how the small human was holding her own against such a formidable opponent. As the battle progressed, Maria began to notice something important. Zarathok relied heavily on her strength, but with each missed punch, the champion's frustration grew. Maria decided to use this to her advantage, making Zarathok commit to a powerful swing. Then, as the champion overextended, Maria quickly darted to the right, landing a solid punch to Zarathok's side. The crowd erupted into cheers, and Maria felt a surge of confidence. But Zarathok was not one to be easily shaken. Kethmori warrior roared in anger and charged. Again, her muscles rippling with power. Maria knew she had to stay focused. She remembered Sarah's advice about playing with Zarathok's expectations. Instead of dodging, Maria decided to stand her ground. As Zarathok approached, Maria watched carefully, waiting for the perfect moment to counter. Just as Zarathok threw another punch, Maria ducked and rolled to the side, avoiding the blow. She quickly sprang to her feet and delivered a swift kick to Zarathok's knee, causing the champion to stumble. The arena erupted in noise as the crowd realized that the human was gaining the upper hand. With each successful strike, Maria could see the frustration building on Zarathok's face. The Kethmori champion was used to dominating her opponents, and Maria's unyielding spirit was testing her in ways she had never experienced before. The fight was becoming a battle of will. As much as strength, Maria continued to press her advantage, using her speed to evade Zarathok's attacks and landing precise strikes. She could feel the energy of the crowd behind her, their cheers fueling her determination. But she also knew that Zarathok would not give up easily. The champion was still dangerous, and Maria had to remain alert. As the fight wore on, Zarathok began to change her strategy. Instead of charging in blindly, she started to analyze Maria's movements more carefully. The Kethmori warrior feigned attacks to draw Maria in, trying to catch her off guard. Maria realized this and knew she had to adapt quickly. In a moment of clarity, Maria remembered the importance of patience. She decided to wait for Zarathok to make a mistake. As the champion threw another powerful punch, Maria ducked low and rolled out of the way. This time, however, she didn't immediately counterattack. Instead, she observed Zarathok's movements. Looking for an opening, Zarathok, frustrated by her inability to land a hit, charged again. Maria felt a rush of adrenaline as she prepared for the final push. She had to trust her instincts and everything she had learned. As Zarathok swung wildly, Maria sidestepped once more. This time, she saw a clear opening. With a burst of energy, she launched herself forward. Aiming for the champion's torso, Maria landed a series of quick punches, each one striking true. Zarathok staggered back, surprise flickering in her eyes. The crowd gasped in disbelief as Maria continued to press forward, her confidence soaring. She could feel the tide of the fight turning in her favor, with determination fueling her every move. Maria knew she was not just fighting for herself or her place in the galaxy. She was fighting for humanity, to prove that they could stand strong against even the mightiest of foes. The fight was far from over, but Maria was ready to give it her all. She would show the galaxy that humanity was more than just a protected species. They were a force to be reckoned with. As Maria pressed forward, the energy in the arena intensified. The crowd roared with excitement, their cheers echoing through the vast space as they witnessed the fierce battle unfolding. Maria could feel their support coursing through her veins, urging her to fight harder and prove that humanity could stand tall against the Kethmori champion, Zarathok. Momentarily stunned by Maria's swift punches, quickly regained her composure. The Kethmori warrior was not ready to concede defeat. With a fierce roar, she charged again, her fists swinging with incredible power. Maria knew she had to stay focused. This was not just a fight of strength, it was a battle of wits and strategy. As Zarathok lunged, Maria ducked low and rolled to the side, narrowly avoiding a crushing blow. She had learned to anticipate the champion's moves, using her speed to evade the powerful strikes. But this time, as she rolled back to her feet, she felt a surge of energy and confidence. She was not just a fighter. She was a symbol of hope for humanity. With renewed determination, Maria began to implement the tactics they had practiced. She danced around Xerethik, using her agility to her advantage. The Kethmori champion swung wildly, but Maria was quick, darting in and out of range. With each successful dodge, she could see Xerathok's frustration growing. The champion was losing control. Maria knew this was her chance. Maria took a deep breath and decided to change her approach. Instead of focusing solely on offense, she began to taunt Xerathak, drawing the champion in. "Is that all you've got?" Maria shouted, her voice carrying over the crowd. Xerathek's eyes narrowed in anger, and Maria could see the fire in her gaze. The Kethmori warrior charged again, her fists flying. This time, Maria stood her ground, waiting for the perfect moment. As Xerathak swung a powerful punch, Maria sidestepped and countered with a swift kick to the champion's knee. The impact sent Xerathak crashing to the ground, and the crowd erupted in cheers. For a brief moment, Maria stood over Xerathak, breathing heavily. The champion struggled to get back on her feet, clearly rattled. Maria seized this opportunity to press her advantage. She launched a series of quick strikes, each one landing with precision. The crowd was wild with excitement, their cheers echoing off the arena walls, and Maria could feel the energy building. But Xerathak was not finished yet. The Kethmori champion managed to rise, her expression fierce and determined. With a roar, she charged once more, this time with even more intensity. Maria braced herself, knowing that the champion would not hold back. As Xerathak came at her, Maria remembered Sarah's lessons about patience and strategy. She needed to wait for the right moment to counter. Xerathak swung her fist, and Maria ducked, feeling the wind from the punch as it passed overhead. In a swift motion, she rolled to the side and sprang back up, aiming a kick straight at Xerathak's torso. The kick landed hard, and Xerathak stumbled back, shock evident on her face. This was the first time the champion had shown any sign of vulnerability. Maria felt a rush of exhilaration. She had prepared for this moment, and it was finally paying off. Encouraged by her success, Maria continued to press the attack. She moved in quickly, landing a combination of punches that caught Xerathak off guard. With each strike, Maria felt the confidence of her fellow humans behind her. They were all rooting for her, and she was determined to make them proud. But Xerathak was a fierce opponent, and she quickly regained her composure. The champion's eyes flashed with determination as she squared her shoulders, ready to fight back. The Kethmori warrior charged forward once more, and Maria knew she had to be careful. This was a pivotal moment in the fight. As Xerathak swung her fists, Maria focused on her movements, anticipating the champion's next move. She dodged another punch and countered with a quick jab to Xerathak's jaw. The impact sent the champion reeling, and Maria felt the crowd erupt in cheers once again. With each punch, Maria could feel the momentum swinging in her favor. She had come so far, and she was not about to let up now as the fight continued. Maria realized that this battle was not just about physical strength. It was about the human spirit, resilience, and the power of determination. As the final moments of the fight approached, Maria gathered her strength for one last push. She could see the fatigue in Xerathak's eyes, and she knew that victory was within reach. The crowd was roaring, and Maria felt a wave of exhilaration wash over her. This was her moment to shine, and she was ready to show the galaxy what humanity could achieve. As the fight entered its final moments, Maria Santos could feel the energy of the crowd surging around her. The cheers and shouts echoed in her ears, igniting a fire within her. She looked across the arena at Xerathak, who stood defiantly but showed signs of fatigue. The champion was still powerful, but Maria could sense that the tide was turning. Maria took a deep breath, focusing on her training and the strategies they had practiced. She remembered Sarah's words about using her speed and agility to outmaneuver her opponent. She had come too far to let this moment slip away. With renewed determination, Maria decided to go on the offensive one last time. "Let's finish this," Maria shouted, her voice loud and clear. The crowd roared in response, their excitement palpable. Xerathak glared at her, anger flashing in her eyes. The Kethmori champion charged forward, her fists raised, ready to unleash her fury. This time, Maria stood her ground. She needed to be strategic and wait for the right moment. As Zarathak swung a wild punch, Maria ducked low, narrowly avoiding the strike. The force of the punch sent a shockwave through the air. As Zarathak overextended, Maria seized the opportunity. She quickly rose and delivered a powerful kick to the champion's midsection. The impact sent Zarathak staggering back, and for the first time, the champion looked truly vulnerable. Maria could see the surprise on Zarathak's face, as if she had never expected a human to challenge her so fiercely. The crowd erupted in cheers, and Maria felt a surge of adrenaline. With Zarathak momentarily off balance, Maria pressed her advantage. She moved in quickly, unleashing a flurry of punches. Each strike landed with precision, and Maria could feel the excitement in the arena. She was not just fighting for herself. She was fighting for humanity, and every punch was a testament to their strength and resilience. But Zarathak was not defeated yet. The Kethmori champion regained her footing, anger fueling her movements. With a fierce roar, she charged again, her fists swinging with renewed strength. Maria knew she had to be cautious. The champion was still dangerous. One wrong move could change everything. As Zarathak swung her fist, Maria dodged to the side and countered with a swift kick to the champion's knee. The move caught Zarathak off guard, causing her to stumble. Once more, Maria seized this moment and followed up with a powerful uppercut, striking the champion right on the chin. The crowd gasped, and Maria could feel the momentum shifting in her favor. Zarathak staggered back, clearly shaken. Maria could see the uncertainty in the champion's eyes, and she knew this was her chance to secure victory. The crowd's cheers grew louder, urging her on. Maria took a deep breath, channeling all her energy into one final push. With determination in her heart, Maria launched herself forward, aiming for Zarathak's torso. The Kethmori champion, realizing the attack was coming, tried to block. But Maria was too quick. She slipped past Zarathak's defenses and delivered a powerful strike to the champion's midsection. The impact was tremendous. Zarathak gasped, and the crowd erupted into a frenzy of cheers. Maria could hardly believe what was happening. The champion was on the verge of defeat, and all of humanity's hopes rested on her shoulders. With Zarathak reeling, Maria took a step back, ready to finish the fight. She remembered Sarah's advice about controlling the pace and staying focused. The arena was alive with energy, and she could feel the support of her fellow humans surrounding her. This was not just about winning, it was about proving that humanity was capable of greatness. Maria raised her fists, ready for one last combination. She approached Zarathak cautiously, watching the champion's movements closely. Zarathak, still shaken but refusing to back down, charged again. Maria sidestepped with agility, and in that instant, she saw her chance. With a swift motion, Maria executed a spinning kick aimed at Zarathak's head. The kick landed with a loud thud, sending the Kethmori champion crashing to the ground. Silence fell over the arena as Zarathak hit the mat, and Maria stood over her, breathing heavily. The crowd erupted into a deafening roar, cheering for the unexpected victory. Maria raised her arms in triumph, feeling the joy and relief wash over her. She had done it. She had defeated Zarathak and shown the galaxy that humanity was not to be underestimated. As Zarathak lay on the ground, Maria extended her hand, a gesture of respect and sportsmanship. The champion, still catching her breath, looked up in surprise. Slowly, she accepted Maria's hand, allowing the human to help her to her feet. The announcer's voice boomed through the arena, declaring Maria the victor. The crowd erupted in celebration, chanting her name. She had not only won the fight, she had captured the hearts of the galaxy. Maria stood tall, knowing that this was just the beginning of humanity's journey. They were ready to take their rightful place among the stars. The arena was alive with noise as the crowd erupted in cheers for Maria Santos. She stood victorious, her heart racing with joy and disbelief. The victory over Zarathak, the feared champion of the Kethmori Empire, marked a turning point for humanity. As the announcer declared her the winner, Maria felt a wave of emotions wash over her: relief, pride, and a deep sense of responsibility. As Zarathak rose to her feet, the Kethmori champion looked at Maria with a mix of respect and surprise. Maria extended her hand, a gesture of sportsmanship that transcended the fierce battle they had just fought. Zarathak hesitated for a moment, then accepted Maria's hand, pulling herself up. The crowd fell silent, watching this unexpected moment of camaraderie. "You fought well," Zarathak said, her voice steady, despite her exhaustion. "I underestimated you." Maria smiled, feeling the weight of the moment. "Thank you. You pushed me to my limits. I had to fight with everything I had." As the crowd began to cheer again, Maria turned to face them, raising her arms in triumph. The support of her fellow humans and the other spectators filled her with pride. She had not only won a fight, but also changed the perception of humanity in the galaxy. People were beginning to see humans as capable and resilient, not just a protected species. The announcer continued to praise Maria, highlighting her skill and determination. The cheers grew louder, echoing through the arena. For the first time, humans were being celebrated as equals among the stars. Maria could hardly believe it. She had come to Nexus Station to challenge a champion, but now she had become a symbol of hope for her people. As the celebration continued, Sarah Chen made her way through the crowd, her face beaming with pride. She reached Maria and embraced her tightly. "You did it. You truly did it," Sarah exclaimed. "Showed everyone what humanity can achieve." "Thank you for believing in me, Sarah," Maria replied, her voice filled with emotion. "I couldn't have done it without your support." "It's not just mine," Sarah said, glancing around at the other humans who were cheering and celebrating. "Everyone believed in you. You inspired us all." Maria looked around, taking in the faces of her fellow humans. They were smiling, filled with hope and pride. The victory was not just hers, it belonged to all of them. She had fought for every human who had ever been underestimated, and now they were united in triumph. As the crowd began to disperse, Maria felt a sense of purpose wash over her. Yes. This victory was just the beginning. She knew that there were still challenges ahead, but she was ready to face them head-on. She wanted to help change the way the galaxy viewed humanity. They were more than just survivors. They were fighters, thinkers, and dreamers. Later that evening, a celebration was held in Maria's honor. The atmosphere was filled with laughter, music, and joy. Humans from all over Nexus Station gathered to celebrate their newfound recognition. Maria stood at the center of the gathering, surrounded by friends and supporters. She felt a wave of gratitude for everyone who had helped her along the way. As the night wore on, Maria took a moment to reflect on her journey. She remembered the doubts she had felt before the fight, the fear of facing Zarathak, and the intense training that had pushed her to her limits. But through it all, she had discovered her strength and resilience. She had learned that humans could overcome even the most daunting challenges. In a quiet moment, Sarah joined Maria and handed her a drink. "You've made history today," she said, her eyes shining with pride. "You've shown the galaxy what we are capable of." Maria smiled, feeling a sense of determination. "This is just the beginning, Sarah. We have to keep pushing forward. We need to show the galaxy that humanity deserves a place among the stars." Sarah nodded, her expression serious. "We will. Together, we'll make sure that humanity is recognized and respected." As the celebration continued, Maria felt a sense of hope for the future. She knew that there would be more battles to fight, both in the arena and beyond. But with the support of her fellow humans and the strength she had found within herself, she was ready to face whatever came next. The victory over Zarathak had opened new doors for humanity, and Maria was determined to lead the way. With her heart full of hope and determination, she looked out at the stars, ready to embrace the challenges and adventures that awaited her in the vast galaxy. Humanity was ready to shine, and Maria would ensure that they would not be forgotten.